Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dallas Cowboys coverage. The Cowboys win another one, up to three now in a row, after a great 25-10 against the Washington Commanders. So the Cowboys have been rolling lately. Cooper Rush has came in and done an incredible job. Obviously, Dak going down early in the season, it was not an easy situation to be put in, but the Cowboys been getting it done, and it's been impressive. So I'm just going to talk about this last game and all the other recent news around the Cowboys. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. If you like the content, I do these every week. So thanks again for watching, and let's get into it. All right, so starting with Cooper Rush, this was still, yet again, I feel like we keep saying this, but one of his best games, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, still yet to have a turnover. He was close twice. Luckily, some penalties took those away, but Cooper Rush, he's done everything anyone could have asked him to do. So, he's gotten his job done. So he's really been impressive, has exceeded my expectations. I think exceeded everyone's expectations. So really a great job by Cooper Rush. The running game in this one was not as good as it's been. Tony Pollard had probably the worst game of his career, at least in recent memory. Averaged less than a yard per carry. He just could not get it going. Zeke had a okay game, around 50 yards, but again, that average yards per carry, not the best. So the rushing attack was not quite as good. It's a good front seven for sure in Washington. So not the end of the world, but they're gonna have to face an even better one in the Rams next week. So hopefully the running game can get back on track, because that is important to take some of the pressure off Cooper Rush. But he got it done. He got it done on Sunday along with the wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, so close to 100 yards. Around he had 97 and a touchdown. He had some great catches though. He was really rolling. He's been better. He's gotten better every single week. CeeDee Lamb obviously having to step into that number one receiver role, and a lot of us questioning if he can do it. It was not the best start, but he's really gotten rolling as of late. Again, Noah Brown has been very consistent. He's done a good job, had another good game, and Michael Gallup is back from the torn ACL. He really played a good game. The stats weren't the very best, but the touchdown reception he made, getting loose from his guy, and that was just a great job, because Cooper Rush in scramble drill, Michael Gallup finding a way to get open and get that touchdown. He also drew, I think, two big pass interferences. It didn't show up on the stat sheet, of course, but resulted in a big gain for the offense. So Michael Gallup in his first game back, a limited snap count, but really did everything you could have asked of him. So really another great job by him. The offensive line was good. Again, Cooper Rush not taking very many sacks, so really, just nothing but good to say out of the offensive line. Connor McGovern did return at left guard. He and Jason Peters rotated throughout the game, so that's not normally something I'd agree with, rotating offensive linemen. But situationally, it's worked out so far. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So just putting guys in different situations, I think, has been good. Easing Jason Peters in and easing McGovern in also after the injury. It's worked out, so no complaints here. The defense, again, another incredible showing. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, though that neither of them recorded a sack, the pressure that they were able to put on the quarterback was awesome, and freed up opportunities for other guys. Neville Gallimore recorded a sack. Dante Fowler recorded a sack. Really just a good game by the defense yet again, as they hold the Commanders to only 10 points. 2 interceptions as well. Trevon Diggs had maybe one of his best coverage games of the season, if not, in his career, had, I think, like a 92 coverage grade per PFF. He really did a good job. And Trevon Diggs, I just want to speak on him for a little while. His transformation this season has been amazing. I am a huge Trevon Diggs supporter and fan, and it annoys me, all the hate that he's gotten over the last year, where he put up 11 interceptions and 21 pass breakups. He still managed to get hated on, and just for his coverage skills. which I think are also overblown of how bad they supposedly were last season. Was not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. It was not over 1,000 yards. It was more like 700 some. And just he his ball hawking skills are unmatched. And to me, giving up, well, still admittedly a good amount of yards defensively in coverage, to me it was worth it, because if you're coming away with 11 turnovers and all these pass breakups, you're making up for those yards, and in big ways, because you're putting your offense in prime position to score. So for me, it made up for it. I liked his style of play, though it was not perfect. It was it was still so much better than so many, and in my opinion, was still a top 10 minimum cornerback last year. He was a first team All Pro for a reason. But what he's done this season has been amazing. He looks better than he did last year. He's on a new interception streak. He already has two, so he leads the league in both interceptions and pass breakups. But the difference has been the coverage this season. It's been so much better than it was last year. Again, like I've always supported him, and I've always been like, it's all right because of the interceptions he's putting up. But now for him to be doing both so far this season, he is and has been a top 5 cornerback in this league. We've seen guys like Jalen Ramsey struggle. We've seen guys like Jair Alexander injured and not at their best. Trevon Diggs is truly one of the top cornerbacks in this game. He has been incredible this season, calling game in the last 2 games for sure. That huge tackle in week 2, that interception against Daniel Jones, and he had yet another pick off of Carson Wentz early in the game. So Trevon Diggs has been amazing. I just wanted to give him a shout out. He's my player of the game because he's just transformed his game into being a pretty one-dimensional ball-hawking cornerback to an all-around coverage guy while not losing the ball skills of the interceptions and the pass breakups. Trevon Diggs, respect. Put some respect on his name because he deserves it, and he is one of the very best corners in the National Football League right now. So just wanted to give him a shout out. Aside from him, DaRon Bland, I thought, did a really good job. Jourdan Lewis got injured pregame. Still haven't heard much about him and his status. I believe it was either a hamstring or a groin. I'm not sure. But whenever I hear an update on that, I'll add it to at least the bio, since I'm not sure right now. But DaRon Bland did a great job. He was awesome in training camp. He did a good job in the preseason as that backup nickel cornerback. And he really, really filled in nicely for Jourdan Lewis. Looked good in coverage, had a big pass breakup, and also an interception. So DaRon Bland, the rookie 5th-round pick, exceeding expectations as he is ahead of both Kelvin Joseph and Deshaun Wright, last year's 2nd and 3rd-round pick in the depth chart. So he really did a good job. And Kelvin Joseph, even though he's not on defense yet, I still believe he can get there. Obviously, not the immediate impact we were hoping for, but got to give him and CJ Goodwin a shout out as the special teamers during punts. They've really done a good job getting to the ball, getting to the return man, and they had a huge tackle on Sunday. So just want to give them a quick shout out as well. All right, continuing with the defense, I talked pass rush, I talked some cornerback. Leighton, Vander, and Anthony Barr, not too much stuck out from them. They've been solid, though, for sure. The one issue that I've had is just the run defense. They gave up a lot of yards on the ground to Antonio Gibson in a running game that has not been the best this season. So I think the defensive tackles are improving. Odighizuwa and Gallimore have really done a good job, but the linebackers have just looked a little bit slow at times, and the interior defensive line just needs to continue to do a better job at clogging at the line of scrimmage. And again, the linebackers not allowing the running backs and quarterbacks, in the situation of Daniel Jones last week, to get to that second level. So while the defense has been amazing, I'm not taking anything away from them. The one issue I've had is the run defense. It's got to continue to improve and be better, but if there's anyone that can fix that, it's Dan Quinn. So just being conscious of that, watching if it's a scrambling quarterback, but just keeping up with those running backs, not letting them get so many big gains, and really just not allowing them to get to the second level. That falls on guys like Anthony Barr, Leighton, Vander, Esch at linebacker, just really doing their best to contain them before they break free and get big runs. That's been the biggest issue the defense has faced, but overall, again, it's been an incredible performance, basically the number one defense in the league. That's just my one note of something they could be working on. And if there's someone that you cannot blame for that, that is Donovan Wilson. He had yet another incredible game, 9 tackles. He had a pressure. I'm not sure if he had a sack in this one. He did for sure in the last game. It was the last game. He had 11 tackles and a sack. Donovan Wilson has been incredible. And if you guys remember, he looked very good in 2020, 2 years ago now. But before they brought in Jayron, he was the starting strong safety. He really looked good. And we were all pretty excited about his emergence and what he could do as a full-time starter. But he unfortunately got hurt in early in 2021, missed quite a bit of time, and that allowed Jayron, who was signed, to really become the number one strong safety, where initially he was expected to be the third or fourth safety. So he really emerged. Obviously, Jayron, he's amazing. I think he might be back next week. So, I love Jayron for sure, but Donovan Wilson, what he's done has been amazing. So I want to see them continue to continue to incorporate the 3 safety sets, because they have 3 starting caliber safeties on this team. Malik Hooker also had a ton of tackles. He really had one of his better games. Donovan Wilson, though, has just been all over the place. Wherever the ball goes, he is there, making tackles, making big hits. He's really done a good job as that box linebacker safety hybrid, sort of like a Jamal Adams type of role. And he has been one of the very best this season in all of the league. If you look, he was ranked as, I think, the number 2 safety so far per, all the PFF grades and all of that. He's really done a great job. And, Donovan Wilson, keep it up, as he's been one of the top players on this defense. Sneaky good player as he enters the final year of his contract. So, all right, I think that's just about everyone I wanted to touch on the defense. Let me know who your defensive MVP was this last game and your overall MVP. For me, it was Trevon Diggs. Donovan Wilson was a close second. And, of course, Cooper Rush getting it done. So, also, I want to get into some special teams. Brett Maher, just shout out to him. He's done an incredible job. I was really, really nervous going into the year about the kicker situation. Guys like Jonathan Garibay and Liram Hyrule, who just looking really not good at all in training camp. Who would have thought Brett Maher would come in and be that consistent piece at kicker? He's done a great job, exceeded everyone's expectations, only missed 1 kick, and that was a 59-yarder, so really great job by him. And also the 1 extra point that was blocked, just want to give him a shout out there, because that could have easily been 2 points the other way. Brett Maher going over there, tackling the big guy, and saving essentially a safety's worth of points. So shout out to him. Brett Maher, he's done a great job. Bryan Anger, however, has done very good as well. He's a Pro Bowl punter, but did shank one off the side of his foot. It was like a 30-yard punt, so not worried at all. Just everyone makes mistakes from time to time. But he really had a good game besides that. So that's about all I wanted to talk about game-wise. I do want to get into some injury updates, though, starting with breaking news that came out earlier today as I'm filming this video. The long snapper Jake McQuaid, a torn tricep, and he is gone for the year. So that was just okay, completely out of nowhere. Obviously, long snapper, if you're going to lose a starter, that's probably what you want. But at the same time, it's been he's done a very consistent job, hasn't made any mistakes in his time. So obviously hate to see that. But again, he was placed on season-ending IR today, as he's done for the year. So the Cowboys brought in 2 long snappers, Matt Overton And one other one, I can't think of his name. It was it was a USFL player from the Houston, I think the Houston team. Man, his name slipped my mind. Sorry about that. I'll put it in the description below those if you want to check that out. But Matt Overton and one other player, I'm so mad I forgot his name. Did a post about him earlier on my Instagram too. Um, I'm not sure. I have it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but sorry about that. I'll put it in the bio for sure. So two long snappers, they were both signed on the practice squad, so they'll compete obviously in practice, and one of them will be the game day call up from the practice squad. So just that's tough. It's um, a position that no one really pays attention to, no one really notices, but important nonetheless. We saw what happened when the Bengals were missing a long snapper, and it ultimately cost them the game on those missed field goals. So, an important position, well not noticed, very important. So, I hope that they can bring some consistency there. Whoever wins that job, hopefully, just can do a good job filling in. So, obviously, Jake McQuaid gone for the year. Speedy recovery, prayers up to him as he obviously suffered that torn tricep injury. So, all right, so continuing with the injuries, Dak Prescott is the big one, obviously. He has expressed his desire to play this coming week against the Rams, but obviously Jerry Jones went on the fan. He talked about how he just still hasn't really been able to grip the football. And that's, to me, that's a concern. As much as Cooper Rush has played very well, I do want to see Dak on the field really as soon as possible. But to me, you just can't put him out there before he's ready. And if he just can't grip the football effectively, he can't go. It's just not worth it because Cooper Rush has done a great job. And even though he's not going to take Dak's job, don't start with that. There's not a quarterback controversy. I think he has, at the very minimum, given the team some confidence and some reassurance that they don't have to rush Dak back as soon as he possibly can get back on the field. They can give him time to fully recover because the team is in good hands with Cooper Rush. It's a tough game, his toughest matchup so far against the Rams, but if they can continue to lean on the defense, continue to make smart plays to the wide receivers, get the running game going, there's no reason they couldn't win this one. We saw the 49ers do exactly what the Cowboys need to do. To me, Jimmy Garoppolo is not, I mean, he's a good quarterback, but he's a game manager. To me, he is a glorified and, well, I'm not sure how to say this, but he's a good quarterback. He's a game manager, so much like, so I would say Cooper Rush. To me, he is a veteran, established version of Cooper Rush because he makes the smart plays. He's not going to win the game passing. He's going to, be around 100, 200 yards passing. He's not going to be the reason you win, but hopefully he's not the reason you lose. And that's why the 49ers have had a lot of success. They've leaned on their defense. They've leaned on their dynamic wide receiver core and guys like Deebo Samuel. And they leaned on their running game, even though it was not the best on Sunday. Or, excuse me, Monday night. That's really been their formula. And it's worked. I mean, we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo get to a Super Bowl a couple years ago in the NFC Championship as recently as last season. He has not been the reason they've gotten there. And that's why they drafted Trey Lance. They want to upgrade and really get to that next level. But he's done a good job in his role. He's managed the game effectively, and he wins. And that's exactly what Cooper Rush has done this season. Cooper Rush has done the Jimmy Garoppolo. He's followed the Jimmy Garoppolo model to a T. He leans on the defense, which has been incredible. He leans on his weapons, guys like CeeDee Lamb, now Michael Gallup and Noah Brown. And he's leaned on the running game in Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and he has not made mistakes. He has yet to have a turnover, even though there's been some close calls, but he has managed the game perfectly. He's done his job. So he is not Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott will go out there and single-handedly win you games. Dak Prescott elevates the other players on the team, and we've seen it happen with guys like Cedric Wilson, Malik Turner, who you don't really hear about as much. on their other teams. But Dak Prescott elevated those players. He made them look better than even maybe they really were. He elevates the team to another level. Cooper Rush manages the team and he works with the guys around him and he does an excellent job doing it. But Dak Prescott is on a different level. Just want to make that clear to anyone that's trying to say Cooper Rush should start. Because no, he shouldn't. But that's nothing taken away from Cooper Rush. He has done everything you can ask for out of a backup. He has looked like a low-level starter, honestly, in this league. He's looked like Jimmy Garoppolo, that type of player. Even Jared Goff, even though he's done really good this year, just taking what the defense gives them, making smart decisions, not turning the ball over, and leaning on your playmakers. And so far, that's been the formula to winning. So, Cooper Rush, keep that up. Keep it up. Keep it simple. And this is something that you can even apply with when Dak gets back. Don't make Dak do everything. Even though he's capable of doing a whole lot, keep the offense simple. Lean on your guys. Take what the defense gives you. Don't force things. And I think Dak Prescott was able to take a step back. Really just watch the games. He was forced to. And I think he's learned a lot. I think Kellen Moore and the offense, if play calling, hopefully, the coaching has learned a lot and realized that Dak Prescott doesn't need to go out there and throw for 400 game in order for the Cowboys to win, as it was in, say, 2020 when the defense was terrible. It was still not getting it done. The defense is great. You have weapons on offense. Just take what the defense gives you, and every once in a while, Dak's going to be the one to make a big play. So if the Cowboys are this formula is working with Cooper Rush, I can't wait to see what happens when Dak Prescott gets back in the fold. Whether it's most likely not this week against the Rams, I think maybe the Eagles game is a realistic target. This team is scary, and this team can make some noise based on their defensive performance, the weapons they still have on offense. And now with the return of Dak Prescott, if he can be fully healthy and not hindered by the injury, Dak Prescott and this team has the potential to go far. And I mean, it's been a roller coaster of a season. After week 1, I thought it was it. I thought it was tank season here in Dallas. But Cooper Rush has kept this offense consistent. And he not only has done a good job in himself, he's taught us a lot of what needs to happen in order for this team to have success. Keep it simple. Lean on the running game. Lean on the passing. Lean on your weapons. Stay consistent on offense. We've seen consistency for the first time in a while. It was pass, 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 pass. It's balanced now. We see an equal number of running and passing. And the defense and special teams too has been amazing. So the Cowboys, it's been a winning formula so far. They have 2 tough matchups coming up with the Rams and Eagles. We'll see Cooper Rush most likely against the Rams. Maybe Dak Prescott returns against the Eagles. But the Cowboys, they've done an amazing job turning this year around. And now all of a sudden they are a competitor in this NFC, which is a lot weaker than it was last season. The Packers aren't as good. The Bucs aren't as good. Right now the Eagles are the top dogs. That's got to change. Cowboys, keep rolling. Let's get it done. So briefly before we finish, just want to get to a few more injuries like talked a while about there on Dak Prescott. But Jayron Kearse, I think, returns next week. Obviously was dealing with that MCL injury. I think he's back. Guys like James Washington still on injured reserve. Don't be surprised to see them pretty soon, though. And Damone Clark, the rookie linebacker from LSU, who is widely expected to miss the entire year, is expected to have his 21-day practice window opened this week. So once that's opened, he has 3 weeks of practice, and the Cowboys can choose to activate him for the rest of the year. If for some reason it turns out he can't go, he will just remain on the NFI list for the rest of the year. But the fact that they're already opening this window this early in the season indicates that you'll see Damone Clark out there sooner rather than later. So a sneaky good pickup in the draft. He was a 5th-round pick, but really had the potential to be a day 2 pick. He obviously just dealing with the injury. To me, this is a sort of Jalen Smith type pick. Was never going to be a first-rounder, but he was obviously just, his stock was dropped by injuries. But when we've seen him healthy, he's done a good job. So he could potentially be a really key addition to that linebacking core. Just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone injury-wise. Obviously, Gallup's back. McGovern came back. Jake McQuaid obviously is out now. We'll see what we hear on Jourdan Lewis. And the two other injuries that happened during the game was Quinton Bohanna went down. I think he is going to be expected to play on Sunday. Wasn't too bad. And Noah Brown had some sort of a neck stinger type of injury. He is also expected to be okay and play on Sunday. So they'll likely be limited going in, but I think they both play. So it's getting better. Dalton Schultz came back. The injuries are really starting to sort of die down once we see Dak back in here, and hopefully eventually Tyron Smith, even though the line has been amazing so far. Obviously it wouldn't hurt to bring in another future Hall of Famer back into the lineup. So Cowboys, the injury situation is getting better. Everything is just looking up for Dallas right now. So again, two tough matchups, Eagles and Rams. But based on what I've seen so far, and based on what we saw the 49ers do, the Cowboys have a chance to win this game. So let me know. Predict the score. What do you think the Cowboys can do? To me, I think they get an upset. It's a pretty widespread. I think they get it done. If they just follow the 49er formula and they can do everything the 49ers can, but better. The 49ers, in context, are, I think, the number 2 defense right now. The Cowboys are just about number 1 in the pass rush and stuff like that. They're better. They're better than the 49ers are. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Neville Gallimore, they're going to feast on Matthew Stafford. And if Diggs and just put another cornerback in or safety, Malik Hooker, just double team Cooper Kupp all game, keep him contained, you win this game on Sunday. Cooper Rush is the only weapon right now because Allen Robinson just is not able to get involved for some reason. Lock down Cooper Kupp, put pressure on Matthew Stafford, force him into bad decisions and turnovers, you can win this game. So predict the score, and thanks again for watching. Feel free to like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Cowboys.